Jai Hind, everyone. Today I have a very special guest with me who has been associated with the selection system, but he is not from the armed forces. My senior psychologist, Dr. Gajendran. His journey has been totally academic. From 1988 to 1995, he was working as an assistant professor in the Department of Psychology in Bharatiya University, and thereafter, in the year 1995, he joined DIPR as a scientist B, and he has given more than 27 years of assessment services, and he's also served in various projects wherein he has made tests for the women candidates in the initial part, and he has participated in various exercises. And if I tell you the statistics, you will understand why we fondly call him Talaiba. Like he has done 35,000 dossiers, wherein you can say that the vast experience which he has got of assessing 35,000 candidates in the selection boards, and who is to add to his experience, he's also, I would say, helped 45 defense officers and also DRDO scientists to become professional psychologists for the assessment of OLQs. I will welcome Dr. Gajendran. Sir, welcome, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Sir, to start off with, I would like you to let our viewers know about the DIPR, or the Defense Institute of Psychological Research, and its role towards the armed forces, sir.
This DIPR, Defense Institute of Psychological Research, is supporting system to the armed forces in their selection, training, and other follow-up studies. The role of DIPR is the training of assessors and test development, and number three, follow-up studies and counseling and guidance. These are the broad areas they are concentrating more on this. Apart from that, the main test development is the main area where they directly contributed for the selection process, as well as recruiting the young soldiers to the armed forces. And recently, they have developed a test for that recruitment for Agniveers, and
Okay,
they
sir.
provided tests to recruitment for the Agniveers. That is also a milestone. And periodically, so this changes requiring the test development, because the test should suit to the requirement of the present generation as well as the changing environment. So this changing environment very much affect the personality development. When the personality development changes or personality is changing, then the test should required to develop according to the tap the resources or tap the
Understood, sir.
personality factors correctly to the present generation. This is very much important for
Sir,
them.
sir.
So their
Understood,
role,
sir.
the DIPR role is very, very important.
Understood, sir. Sir, would you like to show some light on the psych techniques for our viewers who are aspiring candidates? Can you explain the psych technique?
Sir, psych technique, basically, it's a personality test, comprises of 4 parts of psychological test. Before that, I would like to say, whoever the candidates appear, they have to undergo the phase 1 selection. Phase 2 psychological test, the first test which we administer, TAT, that is thematic perception test. Thematic means the way in which the individual perceive the things based on his previous experience. We all perceive the things based on our previous experience. That is the base for the thematic perception test, because whatever the known facts, whatever is experience, that those things only give him to perceive whatever shown to him as a stimulus. So, and the story also written based on that. So any person can evolve a story based on his previous experience, previous exposure, or whatever he learned out of his life. So those things only taken as an input to forming the formation of story. So story writing is very, very important in TAT. So all the stories have to be written based on the stimulus. It is very, very important. It has to match, and it gives an instant that imagination. Based on your imagination, how it is, your imagination is wild. Based on your imagination only, 15 worldviews assessed by the psychologist. So the story, as a young candidate, you should write a story relating to the stimulus that's shown in the picture. There are 11 pictures which shown to you. The 12th picture will be a blank picture. For that, you can write a story of your own choice. That is also based on the individual experience individual age and that background factors which gives him an idea to write a story because it's his own story. Generally, candidates write their own story. So where you can tap the individual a level of achievement and his motivation level, his intelligence as well as his the thinking in the sense that thinking has two parts. One is convergent thinking, the other one is divergent thinking. How divergently he thinks in a broad outline to and also story writing is very easy to every individual, but it is given within the time frame. The stimulus shown for 30 seconds and subsequently which is given 4 minutes to write a story. Within this short duration, he has to imagine a story and write, which require definitely his intelligence and his that background factors, previous experience, learning, and his motivation. All those things involved while writing the story. And also the story writing not only to know the personality, anything hidden in its unconscious level of personality, where these tests are enabled to bring out those things, anything unfulfilled desires or any conflicts which are there in their mind, those things also can be easily tapped through the TAT and other psychological, subsequent psychological tests. So a person is operating not only conscious level, he also operates sometime when he go in deep to deep, he could operate through his unconscious level. So that unconscious part of personality very much required to determine the prediction of the individual personality correctly. Word association test in the sense it is based on our association with various things. It actually first used for crime detection. Now this is also imagination test. How the individual is thinking about and thinking and operating as well as in a quick span of time, how he could give sentences based on his observational skills. That is very, very important. And how he is using the word, whether it is conscious level or unconscious level. Automatically when the test progress, it leads him into the unconscious level. Whatever there in the inner that unconscious level, that is easily brought out by this test also. So based on that, the assessment will be carried out. These tests are called confirmative series. First basis of the test is TAT. The other two tests are confirmative series to see whatever we took the inputs about the candidate in their personality, those things, whether it's confirming or not. Subsequently, we can test and compare the test because it is one individual test, one person's personality, which is tested in 3-4 tests. So the 3 subtests which are used to bring out the whole personality of an individual.
So it is basically
is a
is
nice
viewed in
test.
totality. That's what you mean, no, sir? It's viewed in totality and
Yes.
not in isolation.
Yeah,
This is
not in isolation. It's a combined sub. It's used as a gestalt method only. That
so.
even you can study the parts of the individual, but when you see the whole thing together, then only you will get a full description of an individual, full personality type of an individual. That is taken as an individual personality. Based on that, only your assessment should be carried out. Situational reaction test. In the given situation, this is all the tests I already told you. All the tests are time-bound tests. So within the given short duration, the WAT is 15 seconds. You will show a board, and during the time only within 15 seconds, you have to produce a meaningful sentence after seeing the word. And after completing this, automatically the second will appear on the screen. You have to go. So there is no time. So within the time pressure, you will always come out with the whatever the idea you are having in your mind or in your unconscious level that easily come out of the test. The SRT, situational reaction test also, in 30 minutes you have to read the situation, given situation. It is given 30 minutes for 60 situations, but this each situation you can use 30 seconds. That is half a minute. Half a minute duration you have to read the situation, understand and comprehend all those things, and write written part also to be completed within the given space of the answer sheet within this duration 30 seconds. Then only you can able to complete 60 situations within the given time. Here also the person's leadership quality as well as how quickly reacting and how his concentration and thinking level and how the solution finding, that behavior, that is action is carried out within the given time. The action also have to be carried out within appropriate actions. We can call that is used in that one of the OLQs, speed of decisions. How
Yes, sir.
quickly and appropriately we take the decisions. The same thing applied here in SRT very well. So how quickly reacting, that is based on that also how much that situation is completing. Based on that decision making will be taken into consideration associates with them.
Sure, sir. And what about the self description, sir?
Self description is the individual is supposed to write within 15 minutes 5 paragraphs about himself and as well as the significant people in his life who are assessed in or who evaluated or who associated with him. That mainly by parents, teachers, friends, or working means the people who are with their boss, with their controlling authority, as well as the colleagues. The working people have to write those two paragraphs differently. But generally, wherever he is, it is how he perceives. See, it is a nice test actually, we call it, because how he is associating with other individuals. Based on his association only, he could able to assess others because in his point of view, he has to assess how their parents are observing him or perceiving him, or how the parents are assessed him as a child. Like that, the teacher's assessment as well as the peers assessment. Peers assessment, it's all these things which is say take a significant role in the personality development. How they assess him based on. Actually, it is not their assessment. His assessment only on his own behavior when he is interacting with others. It is not that parents' assessment. They are giving only some inputs, but actually his assessment, how positively you look at them, the same way they will, how he nicely interacting, the same way also they will react. So it is based on his reactions, based on that only that what you call the perceptual assessment takes place. Perception and insight. Am I right, sir? Insight. Insight is the strength which is given to the individual, how he gets about that, his own ideas matching with others, as well as his own assessment about himself. That gives a lot of insight. Without insight, nobody cannot change himself. That is very important. The purpose of insight is to give you idea to individual as to think to change himself. In counseling also we call it the client has to volunteer to change himself. Then only the counseling will be effective. Similarly here, when once he get the insight, he has to change himself. Understood, sir. Last question, sir. Can you please give us some interesting events or experiences of your long innings in the selection boards, sir? Especially with the candidates. Candidates, they behave in different. One candidate, he was initial stages. I am very particular about that time bound tests about their candidate performance, how they should react. And once, one candidate he was writing, when I got informed him that the time is over, still he was writing on the test. What I did, I went and snatched his dance sheet. This fellow went and reported against me to headquarters. So after that, they have this thing. And even I just threatened in the face, took one of the candidate answer sheet because during the SD time, he was writing the fill in the blanks type of WAT and that SRT and all. So I cut it those things, but I have not penalized him for that. Luckily, the same dossier came to me. Sir, the main. Would you like to give any advice to our viewers and candidates, sir? As soon as they enter in the selection board, they should not get anxiety. They should not affect by the performance, their own performance. That the performance anxiety they should not get. After going into the testing, they should listen the instructor. Instructor means whoever comes to administer the test, understand the instruction. They have plenty of time. They can raise their question. Feel free to ask their doubts. And before going to the test, they should understand the test instructions and anywhere clarify before entering the test. That is my main advice is adhere to the instruction, understand the instruction. Whatever they are told to write, you write that. That is very important. And follow the time limits as well as within the time limit. The second is believe yourself and your own capacity. Don't bother about others while sitting in the testing hall. Don't worry about anything. Don't imagine anything. Only you look at your that present level and do your work and the rest you will get recommended. Everything get clarified before performing the test. So think about yourself, perform based on your own skill and believe on those skills and get success, and automatically all the success will fall in your feet.
Thank you very much, sir.